wasn't there when we went by. Didn't get to talk to him until later on in the night. As I'm talking to him, I'm trying not to laugh to myself because all I can hear is Mike McCann saying, I told you he's the Marlboro Man. Dude looks just like the Marlboro Man. I mean, I'm not kidding you. The way he drove that car, him and Jake Wheeler put on a show for, I mean, I'm glad we have video of this. I'm talking legendary stuff here. I'm talking hands down the best non-wing sprint car race I've ever seen. I'm talking about guys with, I'm talking watching Ron Schumann and Corey Kruisman and Sleepy Trip and, a lot of the, I'm talking all-time greats here. These guys put on a show every bit as thrilling as anything I've ever seen those guys do. Ever. Phenomenal. And they went at it, and Ensign had the lead early. And let me go look at notes because I want to be accurate on this. $3,500 to win. $3,500 to win. How many? We had 19 non-wing sprints show up. 30 lap. Feature. Sorry, I'm getting a lot of feedback in my ears. 30-lap feature, $3,500 to win. Hers Precision Parts, the title sponsor. Third consecutive win for Ensign at this race. Okay, Ted Finkenbinder owns the car. Ensign drives it, and man, does he drive it. 8-lap scramble to set the top 4 rows. Okay, 8 cars, 8 laps. Positions 1 through 8 set at the front of the show. Wheeler won it. Starts on the pole, right? Those guys hit heavy traffic by lap 12. And we're talking like separated themselves from the field, got into heavy traffic, and they had to race through it. Jake Wheeler made some moves to that traffic that had. Now you got to remember, he's the hometown dude. He's the hometown guy, and 90% of the people, when we said, hey, who's rooting for Jake, the crowd went nuts. The crowd, when they wanted, that's their dude, Jake Wheeler.
Or as Ed calls him, Wheeler Dealer.
Right. He had a great job of driving through the traffic. I mean, incredible job to hold off Jeff Ensign. Ensign was all over him. He gave that kid everything he can handle, and he handled it. He drove it. Lap 14, yellow comes out. That is everything Jake Wheeler did not want to see. That opens up the clear racetrack in front of him and puts Ensign right on his tail cone. We knew there was going to be a race now. We knew this was coming. Restart. Jeff Ensign made a move, slid by him, got the lead. Okay. Jake stayed right there. Jake stayed right there with him, and immediately people are standing up. This is for the lead. Both of those guys put on slide jobs that I wasn't too sure were going to work out. We've got it on video. We're talking slide jobs that were inches. Inches.
A lot of good photos of that.
Yes. Just going. This is where Jeremy and I both started yelling. We're getting all pumped up. Slide job from the bottom. My voice is gone. I'm trying. And,
using every inch of that racetrack.
Every inch. Mm-hmm. Both of them did this back and forth.
Yes.
Okay. Ensign got the win when, again, they got to heavy traffic, and things just didn't work out for Jake Wheeler the way he wanted. He got to a spot, thought he was going to get there. The gap closed. He had to change the lines, and that allowed Ensign to get out. Now, Ensign won 6-7 car lengths probably was the margin. But, man, that race and what those guys did going through lap traffic and the slide jobs they put on each other and the speed that was in that track
Did you ever catch the times?
I did not get any times. The computer system was messing up. I wish I did, but man.
You think they broke 11s?
Guaranteed. I guarantee they were in the 11-second bracket. That track was so hooked up.
Because it seemed like, I mean, I've seen 12s with the wing sprints last time they were out.
12 zeros.
Yes. So
I will bet you those guys got an 11-9s. I will bet money on it without a wing. They were an open track, not through traffic. They were flying. Rob Lindsay got to third and stayed there the whole race. I mean, it was kind of like Wheeler and Ensign, pretty good sized gap. Rob Lindsay, then another gap. You know, and that was where the heavy traffic all stayed together. Lindsay was third. Seth Nunez finished fourth, and Sean Arriaga in one of the unique breed cars was fifth.
Yeah, they were battling it out the whole way.
Man, it was. I'm telling you,
There's
that
three
race,
races in that one race. No, maybe 4.
There was a few, and it was all for position, man. I mean, it was just absolutely incredible, absolutely incredible. I hope we see more of that. Gosh, that is. I don't care what class of cars. That kind of racing, you can't ask for anything better as a fan. Can't. Dwarf cars were freaking fantastic. We had guys swapping the lead and sliding from first to fifth, and Cody Peters in the 30, Chad Cardoza, Brock Peters, Jesse Lawrence was right there in the mix. These guys were, I mean, they were duking it out. Josh King won his third in a row, guys. His third consecutive feature for the SODCA, Southern Oregon Dwarf Car Association. Fast Freddie Hay. Mm-hmm. Did you see what he did in the early part of that race? He led the first 4 laps. This dude is 76 years old, wheeling a dwarf car wide open. He led the first 4 laps. King got by him in turn 2. Had a caution on lap 8. Cody Peters in the 30 jumped up there to the front, put his name in the hat as he was racing for a win. Made a move past King to take the lead. King was right there with him the whole time. Cody didn't get away from King at all. It was a really good race. And then what happened? Leaders caught heavy traffic. That's where things get scary in dwarf cars. As fast as they were going around that track, racing nobody was given an inch on that top spot. I mean, those guys. I'm thinking, man, if these guys don't wreck each other, this is going to be another. I mean, it's gonna be every bit as good as a sprint car race.
Some of them climbed that wall. I thought that was good.
A couple of them did get up on that backstretch wall.
They climbed that wall and just kept going.
Yeah, they did. They caught heavy traffic. King made some impressive moves in traffic to get back by Cody Peters, who finished second. Chad Cardoza was right there in the hunt for a while in the 71 car for the win. Brock Peters, who we had cameras. I can't wait to see the footage off the back of that car. He finished fourth, and Jesse Lawrence landed the top 5. We didn't have a big late model field. I think, what was it, 9? I think we had 9, was it?
8 or 9.
8 or 9.
Yeah.
Trent Elliott won his second in a row. 3 feature wins this year, points later. Everson, okay, I want to talk about this because when we talk about the local guys being fast, this is one of the guys I think of. Dave Everson in the 40 car, Swartz chassis.
Yep.
He was looking for the sweep. Won his heat race, won the dash, was looking for his first feature of the year. Racing with Elliott for the lead. And it was good. I mean, these guys they're both fast. They were both racing for the lead. There was some contact. Out of turn 2. And I was surprised. I that I want to talk about this for a second just because the amount of damage. Did you see the 40 car leave on the hook? You guys saw that? When they picked it up, I could tell something in the rear end had broke. Okay? You could see that because it moved. But that surprised me because those cars, when the contact was made, they were traveling the same speed. I mean, they were door to door. Literally, they hit tire to tire, so square. But it didn't look like the impact was anything serious. Just didn't look like it. To me, did anybody? What was your perspective?
It didn't seem hard enough to.
It broke some of the 4 bars in the back. It almost looked like, to me, I thought it broke a J bar because the way the rear end was moving back and forth. The report out of the pit area was some trailing links. The 4 bars were broke. I was surprised to see the rear end do that because they hit so flush. And I just thought they were going to keep on going, but Everson came to a stop, and I think it would have been a really, really good race had that not happened. After that, Elliott just checked out. Elliott checked out and left everybody else to race for position. What stood out the most for me, other than the speed that Trent Elliott carried all the way around the track, the car would come into the turns just on the entry. It was off the throttle for a second, back up on the bars. I mean, on entry and flying through the corners. I again didn't get lap times. I would like to see when he was turning. What impressed me, what really stood out for me was the 75 car of Dave Foote. When we were doing our pit walk, we were talking to drivers. We landed in his pit for a while, had a great conversation, lots of laughter. And I said, "Are you ready to go racing tonight?" Dave says, "We are. We've been on the phone. We've been looking at this car, and we are going to make some changes." We've made some changes.
Yeah.
I said, "Oh yeah." I said, "Anything major?" And Dave Foote I'm telling you, this guy is a character. This is one of those guys in the pits that is just you're going to have fun when you go to his pit area. We do. We do go there, and he's just laughing. He's kicked back in his chair, and him and his buddies were eating a sandwich and just kind of hanging out, talking and laughing. And I said, "So you changed the setup?" And he says, "Yeah." He goes, we changed a couple of things. I said, "Anything major?" He starts laughing. He looked at me. He says, "We changed everything under this car." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "We are, we're done messing around with what we were doing." He goes, "We're thinking outside the box." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "We have changed everything." I'm going to tell you right now, the changes they made were all good for the 75 car. He got out and cleared traffic. He ran second. The car was super smooth, never looked upset. He'd drive the car in the corner, get on the throttle, rotate just perfect. But nobody had the forward bite that the 4E had. I mean, and Dave Foote had a good amount of forward bite on the exit. Apex out, super good. But where he was getting on the throttle, where everybody else was getting on the throttle, compared to where Trent Elliott was, you take that center line right there at the apex, and that's about where most guys were doing it.
Yep. And
you come back to the entry. Just as that car turned into the corner, Elliott was already back on the throttle, cars up in the bars. I'm talking 6 feet past the entry. Back and just...
two-turn track.
Forward bite. Just rocket fast. Incredible to watch. Second was Dave Foote. Third, Bob Dees in the 6 car. Had a good run. Put it all together. The car looked... I think that car looked, on the whole, all the way around, looked better Saturday night than it probably has all season. I don't know what changes they made. We didn't get a chance to talk to them, but whatever changes they made were also with the right direction because that car looked better. And I'm talking not just on the straightaways, but all the way through the turns, the way it was rotating and getting out the corners, probably better than I've seen it work all year. Chris Biggs was 4th, and Miles Dubert was 5th. Both of those guys, I think, are going to be talented drivers, Biggs and Dubert.
Yeah,
I think they're going to end up winning races. Dubert he's in that WFO chassis built by Chris Laney out of the Bakersfield area, Cody and Lady's dad, and he's been on the phone with him. They've been changing some things, and he says, "You know what?" He goes, "I've been struggling with this car. I've been struggling with it, and he goes, "I finally figured out what the problem was." He said what he was feeling. They were changing a certain area of the car, and they got to really looking at things and found, okay, this is our problem, made the change. That car, again, looked better than it probably has all season.